of man as man.
Challenging America's basic beliefs. What is unedited right? What is equal treatment under the law? What is liberty and justice for all? It was a hard fight, but the prize was freedom, and no American could afford to lose.
The worst thing we can write was the day we start to fight. Keep your eyes on the prize. Oh no. Keep your eyes on the prize. Oh no.
For much of this century, America was segregated. It was our separate system, our way of keeping blacks and whites apart.
Hey y'all, thank you. Hi, thank you for coming. Thank you. It's been a very interesting birthday. Let's put it that way. Thank you very much. Thank you all for showing up. Thank you. You know, I have on my iPad over here, I can't really but to get in the spirit of it. Did and we'll wait for the discussion till more folks have a chance to come in. How are you all doing? How are all the various things? Hey. Thank you for the happy birthday wishes. Y'all are so sweet. Ooh. Okay, good. So what's happening is I kind of I have a beloved nephew dog who's very old, and I might have to ask one of you to continue moderating. Hey, thank you, sweetheart. Hey, Rickard, to continue moderating once we get into the discussion. Hopefully, more folks will come aboard, because I may have to take him out again or take care of him a little bit. But I will be here. Cold. Oh man, cold. It's a cold time. It's a cold time in so many ways. You know, how did thank you so much. Listen, I'm just curious as we wait maybe 4 minutes to see if more folks will come aboard. Um, man, this is really not like you TikTok. Cuz I would love to invite people up to speak and do I realize that I love you too, honey. I realize that I can't invite you up to speak because we're not on the tickety tockety. So sorry about that. Can you believe, man, I did everything. I got up. Anyway, the point is, um, how many folks had a chance to actually watch or rewatch season 1, episode 1? Oh, thank you for the birthday wishes. And thank you for joining my Patreon. It frightens me. People who subscribe kind of frightened me. Yeah, I know. Well, we could leverage here's the thing. This is a complete experiment. And if y'all, thank you, sweetheart. Um, if you are finding this useful I'm thinking we're going to go about an hour and a half. Just see how we can move forward on, the discussion itself. And what I'm thinking is that if this works, if this makes sense to y'all, maybe we'll find another way to do it where we can bring people up. Oh, Sherry, Josh, you watched it with your kids. Oh, people watch it with your kids. I think that's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. I knew Sherry, you were watching it with your kids, but I am so grateful, and I have it running on my iPad just because, in case there's any questions or anything. So let's get into it. We got a lot of people here, so I feel like I'm talking to myself, and I really want to bring you all up, but let's just go ahead with the chat for now. Um, oh, you just rewatched before you joined. I hear you. I usually weep through the whole of Eyes on the Prize. I tell you right now, all the seasons. I haven't seen season 3, um, but I usually I'm just crying for the whole thing because it's all, um, yeah, it really. But here are the questions that I thought might be useful for us. For those who haven't had a chance to watch, Eyes on the Prize is a seminal um, civil rights documentary, and it is interviewing people who were both against and participating in the civil rights movement, including not only the named leaders that we look at all the time, but also the unsung people, the people that we don't know. Um, I think a lot of what freaks me out about it is that, yes, um, yeah, we are back there. I mean, we never really left. Black people, a lot of brown people, indigenous folks, native folks never really left. But now what seems to be happening is that a lot more people who don't have the history that we have are, whoa, wait, hold on. Now, um, you know, there's a lot. I'm taking in a lot. I'm taking in a lot now because there's a lot of very righteously angry people, African American people, saying, "What about, Keith Porter was killed very shortly before Renee Good? Why is Renee Good the one that not y'all, are paying attention to?" People, I think people really don't necessarily realize that the liberatory movements, the Black freedom struggle, that was a freedom struggle for everybody. And that's the difference. That's the difference. So I'm trying to kind of do as much as I can in my little, I'm here, I'm in Japan, but I'm trying to do as much as I can to try to get that to be us again, to bring us together again, and to talk about, first of all, the fear is real. In fact, one of the things that stood out to me was Stokely Carmichael. Right at the beginning, they asked him, "Are you afraid?" And this young man, is, "Yes, of course I'm afraid. Of course everybody's afraid. Of course. But if the fear is what drives you, you I don't know how you can think that this is going to change. You got to do it along with the fear. I've been going through cancer treatment, and let me tell you, I'm not a needle oriented kind of girl. I have tried to stay away from doctors and all this all my life, and now I'm deep in it. And I got to tell you, the fear is there, but there's a parallel of learning and joy, and that's what this is about. So let me stop talking. Okay, let me move to. I'm going to drop in the chat. Um, oh, y'all are saying such beautiful things. Hold on, man. I want to hear your voices so bad. It's very, you know, TikTok. Say what you want about them. Okay, so let me read out loud what I'm seeing. How about that? Fucking cold in West Virginia. Let me go past the beautiful happy birthdays. So Sarah watched with a bunch of nerds. Bless your heart. Thank you for the happy birthday. Josh, you watched it with your kids. I know Sherry, you watched it with your kids. Quantum Gremlin, what a name! You watched it earlier today. A bunch of nerds watched it together. Thank you so much, Misa. You watched it before you joined. Thank you so much. So Josh is saying that your kids wanted to watch the next episode while you they did this. They had such great comments. Okay, so I see we are going to have to. We'll do this now, but we are going to have to figure out a way to have voices and have panels. And if we can't do it on YouTube, then the next one, let's talk about how we want to do the next one so that we have more opportunity to hear your voices. Josh, I cried. Whew, baby. And your kids were there to hug you. My daughter is 7, hates Ashley. I would have, but I would have had to skip over the image of Emmett Till at his funeral. It's tough. But remember, Mamie Till, his mother said she wanted everyone to see. And that's courage. That's courage. It's all, Misa saying it's all very hard and realizing not much has changed. Most rights intro got me. Yeah, Afness. There was so much real time footage I'd never seen. Sarah, this is the thing about this experience, because they put a lot of the civil rights movement, they meaning the system, puts a lot in black and white, and even a lot of this is in black and white, but it ought to be in color, because Ruby Bridges, I always call her Ruby D. Why do I do that? Ruby D was a fantastic theatrical actress. Um, Ruby Bridges, who's the little girl that Norman Rockwell drew, she's still very much alive and not that much older than me. Let me see if I can read out loud. Hold on a second. Um, hey, it's Ashley. I had so many connections to what's happening right now while I was watching it. It was heartbreaking and frustrating. I know. Uh, Josh said, my kids said, why didn't people learn from the past? Um, Sherry, Angie, baby, I'm looking at Sherry. I'm not sure which question you asked. You asked. Uh, Afness, I wrote that down. Call for citizens should protest, not just those affected by segregation. Um, Rackard Stokely is an incredible writer, but I wanna call out that he was so scared. You could see in his face how frightened he was. He was so frightened, but he had to actually make the move. Hold on a second. Ashley, I wish we could talk to. I could go live on TikTok, but I invited everybody over to YouTube. And the reason I did YouTube is because some people who wanted to do it are not on TikTok and are not members of It Wasn't Nerds. Um, can you forgive me this time? And I'll read y'all just keep going and I'll read out loud, because I want to take in what you're saying, and I want us to hear a voice. Is my voice. I don't sound like y'all. And next time, y'all will help me find a way to do this so that we can have panels and voices. I am very skeptical of TikTok at the moment, because of everything that's happening. I mean, I know GT's on there, but he gets he gets treated terribly, and all the leftists get treated really badly. So I don't know. Let's see what we can do. Thank you, G. Okay, thank you, QC. Yeah, I know. So Josh is saying, what my kids said while we were talking about it. Why shouldn't we all be united? Wallace, uh, Wallace, haven't they thought of it was I'm sorry, I'm reading that wrong probably, but um, what's wrong with people? It's power and money corrupt people because the parents didn't teach them right. Oh, Gigi and Amela. Oh, bless them. Oh, Sherry. Sherry, I didn't realize that was your husband's account. I'm addressing this whole new dude named Josh. I'm sorry, baby. Their parents never taught them the right way. They thought they were safe because they were white and had money. And Mackenzie says, I'm not scared. I'm sad for other people. Bless that child. Ruby Bridges is 71. Say that, Angie. Oh, yeah, you'll forgive me for this time, but we are going to get this going. Listen, there's 20 episodes. So I'm willing to do what we can do, and I want you all to be with me in figuring out how we can do this, how we can invite more people, because I'm not it's not that I'm not angry at people who didn't know, meaning didn't know and didn't work to know, but I'm thinking it's time to figure out how to get the knowledge out there, and then what's next? What do we do? Their parents never taught them the right way. Right. Um, Thank you, Agnes, for forgiving me. We'll get this going. All new and experimentation, quantum gremlin. You're right. I've been trying to do this for about a year, and I wanted to do it on GT with GT's live, but that boy has too many things going on in his life, and I think it's better to just get it started. And when he gets moving, oh, TikTok will get worse in 7 days. Is that when Oracle takes over? Oh, okay, Sarah, the white folks in that first episode seemed without souls. No empathy behind their eyes. The couple kissing at the Emmett Till verdict was disgusting. Let me tell you, every year since that child died, um, various people have gone and shut up his grave. Did you know that? They shoot up every Emmett Till's grave like it's a holiday. Right? You talk about no souls. Angie saying uh, discussing it on TikTok wouldn't be an issue as long as you aren't showing the videos. You could even do clips. I think. Misa, January 22nd. Okay, so they take over in 7 days. And I don't know the background of exactly what they're going to do in 7 days, but we need to start planning to do whatever we're going to do before then. And I do hope GT is able to participate and get involved. But either way, I mean, many of us are GT people. Sarah, seeing Emmett's face was awful. But the thing I kept thinking about is that we need to see right now, just like his mom said, we need to see what is happening, no, no, no matter how awful it is. Uh, yeah, Sarah, it's so awful. He was a baby, but the thing is, the he was a baby. Yeah, of course, he was a teen, and none of this had to happen, right? None of this had to happen. I usually say, if y'all, and when I say y'all, I'm talking about white America, and obviously I'm talking about white America at that time, but that may be people's grandparents and parents had, or great grandparents. No, more than that. But the point being, had the folks then, had the Union punished punished the Confederacy and done the equivalent of a truth and reconciliation, I don't think we'd be in this situation. I'm not saying it would be perfect, but I don't think we'd be where we are now. Um, Missa, I had to look up the last time the KKK marched at our state capitol. Um, yeah, of course, it's horrible. They shoot, man, 247, Katie Bug. Yeah, yeah. My kids said, why didn't the people help the little boy? Why didn't they go to jail? When the two men hugged and kissed their wives, they yelled at the TV, bless them, you're raising them right. Hey, listen, we got, apparently, I don't know, I have not checked this out, but apparently we have, I'm just checking Archie and making sure he's okay. Yeah, he's sleeping. Archie's my um nephew dog. I'm here. I'm not in my house. I'm in my beloved fam's house, and I'm taking care of him because they're away. And he's very old. He's a 16-year-old Frenchie, and his back legs don't work so good, and his kidneys don't work so good, and we're just kind of trying to love on him as much as we can. But they had to go to the States, and I'm kind of unexpectedly sort of here, but um, we can't let this be hidden. Bring the truth into the light, Sarah. That's why I'm doing this. That's why I'm doing this, and that's why y'all can do this. It's not like it has to be me. I would love to see white families, white American families, showing as much as you can. I mean, there's got to be a way we can show these things, at least in person. But I think HBO owns it now, and I don't know the ins and outs of that. That's another thing we probably need to look at. Like Germany did, made laws to stop it from happening again. I showed the kids ICE and KKK, and they're the same. And this is something. This is something you're going to see said by a lot of Black creators. I've been seeing it a lot on Instagram. Black creators on Instagram are teaching. Follow Ashley, the goddess. She's absolutely amazing. There's so many amazing people, but actually, we go towards we. It's our as Americans. It's our um, first thing we say is Gestapo and Nazi Germany when we're trying to compare what ICE and Trump and this whole thing. But to be honest, that's because that's what we learned about the most. And we still didn't learn as much as we should have, but that's what was put in the public eye. But in reality, rather than the Gestapo, you're looking at the slave patrollers, the patrollers, you're looking at the White Citizens Council, um, you're looking at homegrown American domestic terrorism. Does anybody remember when, I can't remember which organization it was. I think it was a police organization. No, it wouldn't have been a police organization. It was some kind of government organization that said, um, I think it was 5 or 6 years ago. Somebody will help me in the chat. They said the biggest threat to American safety is white domestic terrorism. Anybody remember that? I have to find that thing because and of course the people who are those terrorists and you know promoting those terrorists, um, you know they're like, oh, you have to bury that report. I'm going to see if I can. Let me make a note. I'm going to see if I can find that report myself. Um, Ashley felt like you had to check your white privilege this week about that because I kept saying Gestapo, and it goes back further than that with Black people. Well, it goes back further than that, and the thing that's the reason why, or the reason why I, as an African American, say let's look at the homegrown version is because it doesn't mean that what happened in the Holocaust wasn't absolutely horrific and never again is a serious thing. Absolutely. But the reality is, some of what they did there in Germany came through us. They looked at what we were doing. The DHS, Nissa, I knew you'd know. I need to find that document and put that somewhere. I'll put it up on my Patreon and do a link, do a video about it because it's worth knowing that the thing about Germany, as far as I understand, and again, I'm relearning a lot of this as well because I moved to Japan not to get away from it per se. In fact, I moved to Japan for a totally different reason, but I moved to Japan and I have been away from it. And I have not been relearning what I need to relearn. And so this is also just as much for me to learn and to be able to speak and to be able to, oh, hold on one second. Man, it's cold. To learn and be able to speak and to be able to actually hope to change people's minds. Hope to change people's minds. Yes, DHS. It was DHS. Um, the thing about well, German people, many German people at the time, is that they weren't divided like we're divided in the States. We are divided in the States. And I'm not talking about um, black people divided from brown people, divided from white people. I'm talking about people with our particular sensibility that either understand or are trying to learn and trying to change things. The change makers, there's a whole group of us, and I still say us even though I live here. And then the 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 people who want to go backwards, that's what they want to go back to. So it's easy to say, oh, just for somebody who lives outside the States and doesn't understand American culture, it's easy to say, why don't y'all just do this or do that or go, strike and do all these things and a general strike. And I'm not saying that's a bad idea. I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm saying we need the communities to come together and be open. And that's what I'm thinking. Eyes on the Prize could be one vehicle to help that happen, especially in white siloed communities. We need those communities to come together and understand each other and support each other, and also support the communities that need that support the most. Um, hold on a second. ちょっと待ってね. Hold on. Oh, you guys got me speaking Japanese. What's the point of that? Cherie says, my husband, Cherie, Cherry, am I saying your name right? I'm so sorry. I have Cherie in my head. My husband's indigenous, and his tribe has had to put things in place to protect the members because ICE is picking up natives. Local tribes are terrified as well. So I don't want to say the good people because it's such a paltry sin word. Wait a minute. AFNIS, the boycott was the system that already existed and was ready to go based on a big goal. Now, I'm going to put the questions in the chat. Y'all have been answering them anyway. Oops. I'm going to put them one by one in the chat because clearly I don't know what I'm doing. Give me a second. The first question is the witness part. So what? Okay, so what moment, image, or line stayed with you most and why? And I will go first only to say it was Stokely saying he was afraid, and it was Emmett's face and Mamie Till, his mother, and the courage of his mother. And I don't let myself look away as much as I want to. I do not let myself look away. Witness means, now, mind you, one of my beloveds, this is house actually, is somebody whose opinion on many of these things I trust. He's ex-military, and he is always saying to me, don't watch the atrocities. Don't let that into your head, because he knows how I am. I have no filter whatsoever. I can't even watch horror movies. I can't do it. But I fortify myself, and I want to witness. I want to witness. And we have more questions coming up. So, AFNIS, the image of Mamie being held up by her community, literally, yes, yes. Cherie is correct. It's French. And me and Brenna say it correctly. All right. It looks like Cherie to me. French was my best subject, actually, when I was a kid. So I feel so much better. Mamie being held up by her community, literally. So think of Renee's community. Think of George Floyd's community. Think of Trayvon's community. Think of Tamir's community. Think of that poor child who was would play violin and sing to the animals in shelters. I can't start crying. We don't have to be this way. America doesn't have to be this way. Let me see. Emma's face. I want to know what's happening. I want to always hear Mimi's words. This should be everybody's problem. Oh, sorry. I can't believe I'm weeping on fucking YouTube. Oh, and I'm a stone cold punk. I don't do a lot of weeping. But this whole thing is freaking me out so much. It's freaking me out so much. And I am afraid that the people who need to learn these lessons and act won't act. Okay, who else now? Emmett Till's casket. Yes, Quantum. Hey, Ashley, I'll never get this image out of my head. So I have been witnessing as a Black person and a woman. This was amazing. There was this one lady. It was it YouTube? Was it Twitter? I can't remember. So all these Black women and men are just speaking such truth. And it's for me too, because like I said, I haven't been home in 30 years. Or no, that's not true. I haven't been home in 15 years. And, it's easy to just kind of, the racism here is a different thing. And the cops here are a different thing. And it's not easy here, but it's not back home. And I'm learning and relearning. The thing that drove me to write this song, which I plan to record at some point this weekend, when I'm not dog sitting the baby, Emmett's picture on his casket, the fact that the men did it because he spoke to their wife and he had a white girlfriend, the hate on their faces versus Emmett's mom, who was composed and well spoken, the videos of the lynchings. What is bizarre? I don't know if we have any African Americans in this group, in this chat right now, but what is bizarre is people like me saying, what have I done to you? What in the world? And then you realize the men with the handcuffs. Oh my Lord, yes. The men with the handcuffs. So the thing is, the reason you see the 92% a lot, you probably know this, but 92% of Black women and 86% of Black people voted against Trump, right? And voted for Kamala Harris. And, oh wait, Sarah, I'm also always struck by how hesitant MLK was to speak at first. Like, he didn't seek out becoming this great leader. He just spoke his truth. And look what his legacy is. But I would rather he's be alive now at 97. Gotta tell you. I would it's a great point, Sarah, but I'd rather have him here. I tell you what, his daughter Bernice is, she's a Spitfire. She's a Spitfire. But Sarah, you're exactly right. It was just it was his calling to do that. And when I say I'm an atheist, I want to make clear I have nothing but respect for the people of the Black church who use the Black church to organize and to pick up and create change. Nothing but respect for them. It's the other parts of the church I don't have any respect for. And that's a long, long story. And at some point, maybe when we're done with Eyes on the Prize, we'll have discussions about this. Sarah, it also stuck out to me that they were reported that Emmett wasn't scared of them and didn't realize, yeah, because he wasn't from the South, so he hadn't been. Um, it's not that there was no racism in the North. There's plenty of racism in the North. I'm born and raised in New York City in the five boroughs. Let me tell you, there's racism and there's lynchings and there's all of that. But the South made it their identity, made it their personality. Um, yeah, wait, Misa, Sharia made me think of the recent lynchings. Yes, that the police were saying were suicide. So when Black people get angry, it's because this is not new. And the not newness of it, it hurts us that that poor lady Renee is why I'm not talking about y'all, but a whole lot of people went, wait a minute, me too? I can get it too. Now, mind you, she was a member of the LGBTQIA plus community, but that idiot didn't know that. QC Emmett's face and how courageous his mother was. What struck me is how he was just being a kid. He probably didn't realize what he was doing would get him unalive. No, of course he didn't. Tamir, Skittles, none of this should be happening. What happened to Renee shouldn't be happening. What happened to Emmett shouldn't have happened. None of this is, none of it. We don't have to have it. Um, Sarah, I also like the MLK quote: if we are wrong, the Supreme Court of this nation is wrong. If we are wrong, the Constitution of the United States is wrong. And if we are wrong, God Almighty is wrong. Now, I don't say God Almighty, but, and the Supreme Court, the Republican Supreme Court, the Republicans on the Supreme Court have made it a lost cause at this moment. And the Constitution needs to be like Representative Barbara Jordan from Texas, right? Those quotes hit like a brick today. But Representative Barbara Jordan from Texas, I'm going to find her video of the Nixon impeachment, her speech at the Nixon impeachment. That woman is in my heart. She is an icon. Her faith in the Constitution, that's my faith in the Constitution. That's why I want to see us make the Constitution, make the Bill of Rights, make these our real watchword so it applies to everybody for the very first time. Let me go to the second question. Hold on a second. Now, this is a tougher question. I think it's tougher. Here's the next question coming through chat. Where did you see strategy at work? Yes, Misa, strong women in Texas, Barbara Jordan, Ann Richards, Molly Ivins. Oh, I'm a writer. I'm a Molly Ivins stan, honey. Um, Rattlesnakes don't commit suicide. Such a powerful moment. Oh, you're in the third. All right. Apple to the teacher. She's already. Hey, sweetheart. Hey, Diana. I'm ready for Gina Hinojosa and Jasmine. Jasmine, look, I support Jasmine. I will put my support behind Talarico if he wins, but I support Jasmine for this primary in part because I know that the same people who are trying to use um, the conflict outside of our nation as a way to bring her down, as a way to bring Kamala down, the same people are trying to do the same thing to her. And it's the nuance and the many layers involved. They don't want to hear about that. They just want to try to take her down. If you go say something about Jasmine Crockett now, Representative Jasmine Crockett now, every other thing. Now it's bots too. But apparently it looks like we don't have a lot of bots, we on this side. Anyway, hold on, give me 1 second. All right, now strategy question. um, for a bit about religion and slaves because they used to scare and have power over them. Yes, and the Black church was an organizing space and a place of solace early on, and it was the only religion that people were allowed. Although I think they did an amazing job of turning it into something that had great moments of beauty. I still love to listen to spirituals, to Black spirituals. Okay, let me keep going. Okay, okay, QC, the bus boycotts were a fantastic use of strategy. I want to stop there for a second. So, one of the things that I have relearned, is lots of Black folks on social media talking about how boycotting for a day or a week is not the move. And part of the reason is because our experience is it's not just suddenly we boycott. It's not like that's like I can't remember the gaming term. That's table stakes. That's not a gaming term. Anyway, the thing is, first we organize. First we organize. If we organize, and what does that actually mean? Now, I do not hold with not voting. Voting is super important, but there's quite a few decent um, documents that talk about organizing. Black people have written about organizing. Latino people have written about organizing, the labor organizing, lots of wonderful organizing stuff that resources. And I will find out what I would recommend, and I will also try to. We can spread the word somehow. I'm going to be doing a lot of this on my Patreon. Stay the free tier, because this is yes, eventually I'm hoping it's going to be a place where I have my 1,000 true fans and I can I can retire. But at this moment, this is bigger than that, and all of the things I'm talking about, the resources and everything, those will stay free. So the bus or boycotts, let's go back to that. Fantastic use of strategy. Ashley, I'm learning so much. The watching it the past 3 nights, man, you're gonna be going, Diana, y'all are gonna be way ahead of me. I'm only doing it every week because just life is life. And but if we can find a way to have more people do it, and do it not with me, but y'all gather in the States and do it, I'd love it. Strategy. Okay. AFNIS, strategy. Organize, mobilize, agree on the action, meet with officials, met with officials. Yes. Yes, 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 yes. Yes. Um, First, organize. So it doesn't mean it doesn't have to be hard. Or let me no, that's not right. It is out of many people's comfort zones. I'm a hermit. You have no idea what a hermit I am. But when I go back to the States in June, which I do plan to go back in June, one of the things I'm going to be working with y'all and trying to do is using my showing up as an excuse to talk about Japan. And I want to book me at places, community centers, use me as a resource, because people aren't used to seeing old Black women who are from Japan. So use me as a resource. Let me go to places, and we can use that as a way to be an organizing point. You know what I'm saying? Um, anyway, I have a lot of ideas about June. I wish I had more time. So well, the bus boycotts were so well organized, and the fact that they planned it in like 2 days, they were not well. This is extremist. This is when you're like, no, I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know? Okay, wait. Strategy or wait a minute. Yes, the men driving the women to and from work. Misa, yes. Now, I'm not sure what that would necessarily look like now. Strategy, mass meeting, community, love that for their early. Oh, hold on. They got there early. They got here early. Yes. mass meeting, community, community. This is, and the thing is, I know a lot of folks who are not sure about what to do may live in white silos. And I say white silos because that's how the system the system made that happen. And nobody was thinking, "Oh, why should this be?" Right? Um hold a second. Oh, y'all are just strategizing. I love it. The men drive mass media community get there early. The bus boycotts, endurance as leverage, quantum, endurance as leverage, and sustaining pressure over power. Woo! Y'all, yes. Endurance as leverage. What would be endurance as leverage now? Now, 7 million people on the street. That was another point when I was on the panel, on GT's panel, and just weepy. Y'all got to make me weepy. Wait a minute. Strategy, theory, ideas. Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez. Afnis. Okay, so y'all, it's 8:49 and he's still asleep. Okay, so I can do this. I'm thinking we should end about 9:15. And I think what I will do, I don't know what time 9:15 is going to be where you are, but I think what I'll end the official YouTube approach at 9:15 unless we end up going over because we have wonderful things to talk about. And then what I'll do is I'll go take care of himself and come back 10 or 15 minutes later because I want to talk about resources. And I will sit here with my iPad and get all the resources into Patreon so that, and just have a resource list that we can easily work with. Okay, wait a minute. Endurance is leverage and sustaining pressure over power. Quantum gremlin, yes. Afnis, strategy, theory, ideas, Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez, yes. They knew what they were doing and they knew how to do it. Cherie, yes, the bus and the lady that did 35,000 flyers in a few days to hand out by hand. Y'all, what they have, mimeographs? The communities were so locked in, the carpooling to keep people on the go. This is what we need. Not exactly the same thing, but the equivalent. Exactly. Oh, Cherie, episode 3, your kids, man. I feel real change always or almost always requires a dismantling of privilege and comfort. Quantum, you're on fire. Um, Sarah, I think strategy requires some being courageous, decisive leaders, and others having the humility to follow. And that's something that I've seen done consistently well in the Black community. You are absolutely right. We're trained in it. Some of that is church training. Some of that is church training. Um, that is a reality. But the leader follower model is we are trained. Missa, the smell of mimeographs. Oh, let's see now. Current strategy: rapid response network and hotlines. There is likely one in your area in the U.S. Yes. Now, how am I going to take all this wonderfulness? Because you know what? It's okay. I think I can copy this chat and then have it available on Patreon so that we can pick up all these ideas. Rapid response, network, and hotlines. The chat should be saved to live. Thank you, Misa. You can clearly tell this is my first time doing this. Okay. um, yes. So the current strategy. I have a question for you on strategy. Do you feel? Oh, bless your bones and whiskers, Misa. Um, do you feel in your community that your community has a strategy? I'm just very curious in you folks' communities. Do you feel that your community has a strategy? not just for ICE, but for moving the community forward? I'm very curious. And if your community does have a strategy, is it working? Oh, no. I hear you. No, that's what I was afraid of. The local community where you live. Yeah. The I don't want to say meat space because people hate that, but the physical community where you live. Yeah, I was afraid to see a lot of no's, but ah, absolutely not. Eating it. Oh, eating the shadows. I didn't realize you were here. Hey, sweetheart. Unfortunately, no. Oh, all right, Misa. Your Facebook group has organized food drives. One recent give was whistles. Nice. Sarah, we have a strong liberal community here. Now, I see a lot of no's though. So one of the things that I'm not sure of, that I'm looking for help, um, Afnis, there's some strategy, but kind of disconnected because it's a big city. I hear you. I hear you. Now, wait now. Oh, happy birthday, Sam! I can't believe you're in here, honey. We miss TikTok, GT. We miss TikTok. It's because we can't speak, man. Sam, you now you be careful, but also I'm glad to see you here. Okay, the question we're asking is, we looked at the strategy of the civil rights movement, and now we're talking about, is there a strategy in all these folks' local communities? Oh, in other words, like where you live, where your body actually resides. Sam, I'm proud of you for everything you do, but you know that already. I don't need to tell you that again. You are a catalyst, my brother. You are a catalyst. You and your funny hats. Um, okay, I want to get back to okay. So, eating of shadows, you're absolutely not made me feel so sad. All these no's. Now, okay, kind of disconnected. A big city. Um, okay, quantum. You saying no? There are efforts, but they are disjointed. All right. I've been here pretty much the whole time. Oh, okay. Practicing listening. I love you, love. Um, I had to alert our school. Oh, Shri, I had to alert our school district. ICE has come to the community. We are an hour and a half from Seattle, big military base. I'm trying to organize with your community friends. I absolutely see that. Yeah, the nerd has joined the chat. Sam, I know you got lots and lots of things going on. I don't expect you to necessarily stay in there, but just the fact that you took the time, and we're going to have to come up with a better way to do this so we can hear voices, because I'm basically reading everybody's chat out loud, which seems a little bit like 1922. Anyway, thank goodness for the angel who walked past the mob of her peers, safely guiding the student to the bus. Yes, yes, yes. For those with whistles, today I learned that it's 3 short bursts for a sighting and 3 long bursts for a detention. I didn't know that. Not sure if that's local to me, Texas, or everywhere. Terry, you are doing great. Oh, bless you, heart. It's getting us organized. We're just starting. We're just beginning. And one thing I know is we need voice. We need voice. In my red state, there are just status things are just status quo. We had a few protests, but otherwise nothing. It's bizarre. I want to go to Ashley. I want to go to my school board meeting next week as a former teacher and ask what their plan is for protecting our students and staff when ICE comes around. Maybe I'll find some people there. Ashley, beautiful, beautiful. Now, here's what I am not assigning homework because I'm not your teacher. But one thing I'm going to look at is what are tactics? I'm sorry, what are strategies? Because strategies comes before tactics. What are strategies that people are using in other places that are similar to yours that are working? Because the thing that gets, and I'm not speaking for all Black people, let me tell you, because I usually I'm more of the alternative black. So believe me, I'm a black punk, and there's some of us. Most of my community are, oh God, in support of ICE. It's really hard to live here. Where they'll be in support until it hits them. But um, one thing that gets people crazy is let's make a new something. Let's create something new. We can lead you to the thing. Sam, these people made me cry in here. I don't like it. I I'm a you know, I'm a G. I don't weep. But so that's what ends up happening. Well, what I want to talk about is there are, because America is so big, so ridiculously big, right? We need to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. But I suspect you will be. I'm a G. I don't weep. Don't you put that on a t-shirt, boy. Um, the thing is, and I don't know if this is reasonable or not. So if this is not reasonable, remember, I haven't been back home in 15 years. This may not work. But if we could research places that are similar, you know how like Tokyo has a sister city, all these cities in Japan have sister cities, right? In Japan, right? I mean, in America and other places. What is a sister community that looks a lot like your community? So if it's a community full of people who love ice, who think ice is just fantastic, they, yeah, they're there. We know they're there. Oh wait, I'm not. Wait, my husband is on the school board. Yes, Cherie and her hubby are something. I would love to know how to make a bigger difference with smaller numbers. Yes, this is what I'm saying. Yes, yes, Sarah, so nice. You said it twice. That's exactly right. How do we make a difference with smaller numbers? A. B. Somebody somewhere, some community that looks like yours is doing it. I guarantee you that some community that has demographics like your community, right? And has, ice freaks, people who think this is all funny, like your community, is doing something remarkable. How do we find those other communities? We don't have, I guess my point is, we don't have to look to Germany. We don't, although we can learn a lot from Germany, but we're not at Germany's level of wokeness at this moment. We're not ready for the South Africa Truth and Reconciliation Committee, right? We're not ready. We are just getting a whole bunch of white Americans who didn't realize, because they didn't have to, what could be, that things could be amazing in America. Because that's what I'm going for. I want amazing America. That's all I'm looking for. And that's for everybody, every single soul, right? So, no reason starting from scratch. I used to be able to speak English. Scratch if there's a blueprint. That was one of the things that I learned from watching Eyes on the Prize. There is a blueprint somewhere, and let's make it America. And actually, I should expand that. Let's make that North and South America. Because again, we're dealing with huge areas. Um, we're dealing with silos, rich silos, white silos, siloed places, right? So, but there's got to be some place that could be your sister area where they're actually a little further than you. Now, mind you, I consider Sam in college. I consider him doing his PhD at putting together a community and bullying racists online. I mean, he is like, I look up to him. I'm in maybe first grade, right? But that's okay. Y'all might be in first grade, but look to the people who might be in third grade or fifth grade. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be we all turn into Dr. Martin Luther King. fantastic if we did, but we got to start with small bits first. And that means your fear is conquered in some ways. Because remember, Stokely said, he said it, he's afraid too. But what he had backing him up is his community and a plan. His community and a plan. When I got my cancer diagnosis and all this other, and they're like, and I'm like, what? And then blah, blah, blah. What did I have? I had my community, and that included a lot of y'all online and my beloveds whose house I'm in, and a plan. My doctor had a plan, and I said, all right, what's the plan? I wanted to know, basically what it was, not too much detail because yuck, but, and I'm following the plan. I don't do it perfectly. Sometimes my sweet tooth is back, and that's not good. So I gotta fight that. I'm exercising more than I used to, but I need to do a whole lot more. I plan to, if I can get this creative career going, I plan to buy a bicycle because my bike got stolen, and I want a bike. Not to copy everything not to copy everything GT does, although you could do worse. But he's living a life I would like to live, so why not use him as an icon? All right, now, all right. Let me look at. Okay, Sarah, I would love to learn how to make a bigger difference with smaller numbers. That is brilliant. Keep that in mind. Those of you who are in icy places, right? You're in Japan in life. You want to live well. we got to, Avengers assemble. Oh, Sarah, I was on the school board for 6 years. It's a huge impact. School boards. Let me forgive me for a second, and I'm going to go back to reading these chats. Forgive me for a second. One of the things that is amazing is the idea that the Heritage Foundation and all of these these deplorables, these deplorables, they took over decades ago. The media, all these things. I know y'all know this, but I'm repeating it because remember, we still are smarter than they are. We still are smarter. We still are better people. Even though they had enough fear of a black planet to organize and proselytize and propagandize and everything they did that has led us to this point. Yes, true. And yeah, our millionaires are I seems like they're finally waking up and realizing. But my point is, y'all are in your area, in your physical area, you are the acorn that grows into an oak. I'm not a nature person, but my point is, you are the center. You are the center that can take what you're learning here and there and everywhere. Because I know y'all aren't just relying on me. Please don't. Please don't. But y'all are the center, and y'all can help other people become more centers so that we become, excuse my techie hat, distributed. Okay, wait a minute. Let me stop preaching. Sorry. My dad was a preacher, and that is a problem with me. Sorry about that. No reason to start from scratch if there's a blueprint somewhere, Sarah. Yes. Um, Go to your city council and school board meetings. Cherie, she and her family are really good at this. Really good at this. Cherie, I don't know if you ever go live, but if you do go live, tell the stories, about what you and your hubby and your family and the people in your community have done. It's not the same kind of community, but that will help other people as well. You'll find the opponents and the allies. People can't get out. We need to make sure they have food and other supplies. Exactly. The civil rights movement, one of the things I admire so much, what was being done? Pressure. What did that pressure mean? People, regular people, wouldn't have the ability to go and clean the lady's house. Wouldn't be able to to go to a job and be able to make the money so they can take care of their family. What does that mean? Okay, wait a minute. I'm just looking at this boy. Okay, I better stop screaming. All right. I'm taking care of my nephew dog who is very very old and not very well. So I thank y'all for letting me do this at their house and sort of check on him every little bit. I have to pick him up and take him out to do his thing and then bring him back and all sorts of stuff. Anyway, so my point is just if the boycott didn't have that amazing planning and all of that community support, it wouldn't have happened. Hold on a second. Uh, I don't know that you want to live this life, but I think you want to visit. Sarah, huge school board for 6 years. Local elections, yes. Find out what seats are open and help to fill them with good people. Some horrible people go unopposed. Yes. And stop looking to, unfortunately, the Democratic leadership to make that happen. We need to think of the Democratic leadership in general. There's a lot of really amazing people too, but the leadership, we need to think of them as people that we push at specific points. Now we need to push them at specific points. But when you talk about replacing the deplorables with plurables, with people who it will be a pleasure to see in office, that starts, you know, from the very bottom. Local elections, absolutely. Um, it just takes courage, not giant brains. Torta could run for a local. Oh, mercy. Talking. This is key. Talking Points USA is funding local challenges and utility boards in your city. They know local. The deplorables know local. We need to know local. But rather than saying, step right out there right now, blah, like some kind of, I don't even know what, the civil rights movement organized in 2 days. By the time we come back together next week, right? I would love it if y'all could tell me if you have found a place that can be your sister area, who are maybe in third grade and you're in first grade because you're surrounded by ice types. Next door is a guy with a huge Trump flag and he's so dumb he couldn't even spell it right. Fine. There's got to be a demographically similar place where something good is happening. I mean, if there's not, then you can get inspiration from others. But I'm just saying, there may be gold in them there hills. Hold on. So Talking Point USA is unspeakable. Unspeakable. To be honest with you, GT, I'm sorry. I think debates are unspeakable. I watched Jubilee, even when Amanda Seals was on there. I don't hold with everything Amanda does and says, but she is for Black people. There's no doubt about that. It's not that part that I don't like, but some of the other things. However, um, she schooled them, but at the end, what does it change? I think GT in a non-debate, but in an actual, you know, when he does that thing where he breathes and slows down and tries to match his breathing to the other person. I see you doing that. That's very very smart. That's a retail trick I know. Match the breathing and then ask human questions. That can have a great effect. But actual just like debates, people going at each other, that's techie nonsense. I don't believe in it. Hold on a second. Sarah, uh, um, I think people see rich people who are usually are the school board, city council, but anyone can do it. Yes, grassroots. Yes, Sarah. Yes, Cherie. And in our city, we started our nonpartisan group so we can pool funds and resources to help people run more successfully. Are you affiliated with Run for Something? I think Run for Something is pretty much national. This is what I mean. There's resources out there to help, but how to pull them all together, how to pull them all into place. Don't try to pull everything into place at once. So if so, for example, look at how they did it in the civil rights movement. We need a strategy. Where can we get our strategy from? We may not be able to use exactly the same things as the civil rights movement. Oops. We just started a local grassroots thing for our city. Oh my. Is your city a city that maybe other people, or an area that other people on here might have similar demographics, do you think? Sarah? No? I have no idea. Like I said, hermit. I barely leave my house. Um, anyway, that's a thought. That's a thought. Let me go to the last question. Okay. So the last question of the three frames sounds like some kind of Masons. Rutland, Vermont. Vermont. Hamamaki, Japan. Well, Vermont is different. I can wander around Vermont and not fear for my life. I know about Vermont. However, um, there's a lot there. There's a lot there that could be helpful to some of the people who live in ice silos. Let me pop up the last question, and then we're going to start winding down. So coalition, I believe creating coalition is part of what the civil rights movement did so well. What the Black Panthers, the original Black Panthers, did so well, because you know what they did? Online you see all these people. Well, not all these people. I don't know how many people. Some people, hey, can I join the Black Panthers? And there's some white person who's, never thought of such a thing before. I'm ready. And I'm like, no, you're not ready. Create your own. That you had the Black Panthers, the Young Lords were the Latino version. You had the Panthers, who started out as the White Panthers. They were called White Panthers, and they were actually fairly kind of racist. They weren't KKK, but they were like, there were only some parts of the agenda they really kind of got, until Fred Hampton, and who y'all all want to know Fred Hampton and his teachings. Um, Fred Hampton, and I mean many, many people got together and got the White Panthers to call themselves the Panthers. And it was the Young Lords and the Panthers and the Black Panthers, the Rainbow Coalition, working together. In fact, one of my dear, I shouldn't say dear, one of the people I admire the most, her name is Denise Velez. She was a Young Lord, and she was in the Panthers. And I would love to do a video. What do you call them? I would love to do an interview with her, but more than that, I would love like somebody like GT to talk with her, or some way to talk with her where she can share her knowledge in a way that helps us figure out what we can do. You know what I mean? Because just in the interview, listen, I'm watching all the Sinners interviews. I'm so excited. I'm all for an interview, but I think we need to bring it down a little to strategy and tactics. And she was there, and she's amazing. She's amazing. There's so many amazing people who are older than me, and I look at what they say and what they do in the books they write and all of this, and I go, we got to hear from these folks now. All right, wait. Rutland. Yes. Danae. Oh, Sarah's impressive. Sarah, they said I'm not neurodivergent, those the test, but I'm gonna take another test because I think they're wrong. Cherie, that's awesome. Sarah, that's awesome. That was during COVID when my husband ran. Now I have people who want me to handle their races. Me, I have 5 kids. I can't handle 5 campaigns. I can help organize, and you can help raise 5 campaign managers. We need campaign managers too. Coalition, women. Afnis, yes. Women, white women, y'all have power that I think you kind of know. I think you kind of know already. If y'all turn the reason black feminists kind of walked away from feminism, if y'all turn that around, do you understand the power I can't even. It gives me chills. The power y'all have to to be in coalition with us, and in a way, oh, who's saying happy birthday? Did oh Delia? Thank you, sweetheart. This is the best birthday present ever. Wait a minute. I don't know. It was from White Panthers first. I didn't know it was White Panthers first. Yeah, Fred Hampton. I mean, Afro pessimism. Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah. I haven't read it. Whoa, Covey, and I think I have not read it. Covey is amazing. Here's the thing. Um, I am. I want anti-blackness to disappear all around the world. I want liberation for all people everywhere. But my problem is, well, what does coalition mean? Okay, so people to do good trouble alongside. Oh, that sounds terrible. I didn't mean anything by that, Sam. People to do what needs to be done together. And what does that mean? So, for example, in the civil rights movement, they had a planning. The Black church is all about committees. I don't know about y'all, but there's always a committee, right? The sick and shut in the committee. Um, this is the whole idea is you get a group together, call it a committee, don't call it a committee, it doesn't matter. That is a coalition, hopefully, of differently different looking, different background, different working, different education from I'd hate to say bottom to top, but y'all know what I mean. As diverse as it can possibly be, and y'all coalesce together to do the kinds of things that we're talking about that are being that we're talking about with the civil rights movement in mind. So, for example, the idea of who is doing something similar in a similar demographic area in America. I love Covey dearly, and I, she is another one of my watchwords. But I think we got to focus at least 80% of our attention on the madness in our own country right now. I still have 20% of attention. Make sure that we're supporting Sudan. Make sure that we're supporting Congo. Make sure that we're supporting Palestine. Make sure that we're paying some attention to what's happening in the Sahel. Um, yes, yes, we can't just go into our xenophobic nonsense. That's nonsense. But our wound has taken too long to to close. Our wound has taken too long in America to close, and now it's rotten. And that means we need to cut away what's not rotten. Don't ask me how I know this. We need to cut away what's rotten and let that fresh put an opti prime on there, so there's some fresh coalition. So the skin comes together and starts to knit together. All right, hold on a second. Wait. Let me get into the chat. All right. So in terms of the question, uh, that the white ladies were like, "Don't mess with my home," which with ulterior motives, Nady. I did not mean the dirty. Oh no, honey, I know you didn't mean it as dirty. I just have a dirty mind. I'm from New York. I'm sorry. I was raised this way. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I just, and it's also a way to let off steam because as you can probably imagine, I'm extremely nervous right now. So, um, intersectional. Who said intersectional? Hey, Ashley, intersectional coalition, intersectional coalition. Probably there's quite a few of you who are folks who consider yourselves feminists. Awesome. Look into why many Black women do not consider themselves in the same feminism movement. I don't mean you have to do all of that right this second. I'm just saying there's a reason why there's a separation, a bunch of different reasons. Um, Intersectional, yes. Things are getting bad fast here. We don't have a whole lot of time, but we also have all the time in the world because we make time, we hold time. Time is the only thing we really have. So I want us to breathe. And I know I'm not there. I know it's easy for me to say that from here, but I am with you. I weep every morning, and I try to put the little money I have, I try to put, it's going to get bigger as I become a better content creator. The little bit I have, I try to put it towards what's going on in the areas. I'll tell you where I donate. I'll put up a donation thing on my Patreon to just tell you where I donate, and maybe you can find something similar in your area. Anyway, churches are good at having committees and meetings and moving quickly because they meet weekly. True, but we also have the interwebs. We have the series of tubes. Um, I think one of the things that ends up happening, and maybe just me, Sam, make sure you, if you're still here, you have created community. I know it's hard to keep everything together, to keep all the bits and pieces juggling. Yeah. What can make it maybe a little easier is the civil rights movement kept it real simple. They did the planning, and then they had a 1 point focus. We're boycotting this thing. And from that 1 point focus, from there, everything went from there. The reason I'm saying one particular idea, it doesn't have to be the only idea. One idea might be go ahead and look at a place that's demographically similar to you in America or North America or South America, because there's maybe enough similarities that it may be worthwhile, is look at somebody who's in third grade on the progressive scale while you feel like, oh, I'm surrounded by ice. I'm not even in kindergarten on the progressive scale, and see if maybe there's something you can learn. If there's not, that's okay. Next step is we need a strategy. And we don't need to make a new strategy. We need to see which strategies are out there and see which strategies and therefore which organizations we can support. We don't always have to do it all ourselves or do it all new. Hold on a second. Um, because remember, boycott. I know I said it, but the bus boycott. That boycott meant it went for a year. We're talking about time, and then they had to set up systems so the mimeograph could get all the information out. Can you imagine? Um, and then there had to be food. There had to be all that had to be organized. That was a community organization job, right? And what was the eye on the prize? To me, the eye on the prize, the eventual eye on the prize, is that the deplorables are so overwhelmed that they stand down, and we rebuild based on not based on faith. And I don't mean that to say that your faith is not, that's important to you and that's great. But let's base it on history and repairing the results of history and the knowledge that if we can be the multicultural country that we were born to be, it's right there in front of us. If we can be that country, can you imagine? I could see white silos breaking up and everybody moving in together. Well, maybe that might be a little bit too much, but you know what I'm saying. All right, hold on a second. Wait a minute. Hearing you speak, Delia, hearing you speak and when I see GT reminds me of my sociology classes from Cal State Long Beach. That's GT. I don't have a degree, so got to stop the bleeding. And right now it's open back up. Yes, Diana, you got it right now. Yeah, I am not a very good student. So I mean, I'm a good self-taught student, but I was a very privileged student and got bused to white schools, which you can probably tell. And I went to the High School of Music and Art, and I had all this privilege and went to Fordham University and threw a lot of it away. But I'm bringing it back. If my mother was still here, she'd be proud, or she'd say, finally. All right, wait a minute. We need to fix it before we can. Cherie says we need to fix it before we can help others, because who would help us? We need to be strong here before we can make real changes for other countries and their policies. Yes. And the leftiest of lefties are going to say, or what I say, the authoritarian left is going to say, how dare you not pay attention to Palestine. How dare you not? And we just have to ignore them, don't we? We have to ignore them because they're not talking in good faith. It's performative. And the black, I say that about the black ones too. It's performative. It's performative. Man, I need some cream for all my wrinkles. It is performative. I need to put the oxygen mask over my own face, or else I'm going to keel over. And how's that going to help anybody? Right? All right, hold on a second. Grassroots without infrastructure burns out. Civil rights movement. Oh man, we're going way past time. I am so sorry. This has gone much longer than I intended it to. Um, I'm going to take care of my little doggy buddy here, and then I'm going to probably jump on live. I don't know if GT's going to. You know what? I'm not going to jump on live. I'm going to start working on my Patreon and my resources. But if GT goes live, I will go live. But I don't know what day it is. It's Saturday here, so that's Friday with y'all. So I don't know exactly what's going on. I think he's going to Lysandra's. Yes, we need to focus on one thing. It'll snowball after that first hurdle. Civil rights took time, but it worked. Heads, not days. Huh. Sarah J., bless your heart. I'm not powerful. I am the lesser daughter of greater mothers and fathers, honey. This is just because when you grow up like I grew up, it's all in the air around you. You know, like who's the picture on the wall? It's Dr. King and JFK. And we had white Jesus for a while, but I put paid to that. Months, years, not days. Sorry. Oh, that's all right. Okay, who's this now? I majored in sociology. I love this stuff so much. Listen, we need the academics. We need the academics. I am not an academic. I am independent and I'm making my own personal curriculum. But we need your training, right? Because the thing is, you guys training, you folks training is so important. So important. Authoritarian left. Yeah, I've been saying that because I got into such fights with not anyway, doesn't matter. I think there's levels to it. The focus should be here, but it's still important to be informed about other places. Absolutely. If I could click my little red shoes or have a wand or something, I would say one meeting a week for what's going on in your neighborhood and what needs to happen for the rest of the week, and eyes on the prize. And then one meeting a week where we share resources on how to help folks overseas. I'm okay with that. I think that's fantastic. Oh, thank you so much for the happy birthday. Thank you. I miss a lot. I'm gonna actually have it. I think I can have it. I think it's recording. It should darn well should be recording, and I will have it up. And I'm gonna try and drop little clips. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm old. Hold on. Focus. Yeah, Kelly, I absolutely agree with you. Okay, we're going to start wondering how can we help others? We are bleeding out. Exactly. We need to fix the bleeding. We need to do several things at once. And don't forget, we are the broad progressive left. We are pragmatic progressives. We are smarter than them, and we're better people than they are. Hold on a second. I have a BA degree, Delia, in sociology too. Tell you mean I have a sociology degree, but I have so much wisdom and experience as needed. Well, I have made a lot of mistakes. And actually, thank you so much for that. One of my mistakes is not keeping up my studies. And this situation over the last 10 years has made me inch back into it because I feel like I was raised in a Black American milieu and family and household and cousins and everything. And then I got bused to white schools and most of my friends were white or not necessarily Black. And then I went to music and art, which was extraordinarily diverse. So I love being Black and Black history, and I think there's so much there for us. And I work towards a multicultural world, and it's got to start with America. I'm sorry, I'm looking at Archie. It's got to start with America. So, y'all, those are the three questions. I love you all. I'm so grateful that you joined. You have no idea. I'm going to start building up my resources on the Patreon page. I'm hoping Sam goes live. I feel weird calling him Sam. He didn't give me permission. But I hope GT goes live. Thank you so much. And I'm sorry again about the lack of human voices, except for me just talking. Rah. Uh, thank you for that. But I want, we got to do it so it's us talking next time. That's just, that's, it has to be done. And what I'd like to do, it seems like this time, oh, thank all of y'all. It seems like this time kind of works. Yeah. It works for me. It's only 9:33 in the morning on Saturday morning here. If this time works for y'all, I'll aim to this for this time, but we'll do it, I suppose, on a different platform. Maybe one way to do this, I'm thinking, is do it on Tickety Tockety if GT's not live, because that's my that's my A point. As soon as he goes live, I'm like, whoops, bye. But maybe do it on TikTok so we can get the voices up. And then I'll try to restream at the same time to my Twitch account and to YouTube's, maybe even Instagram. Anyway, nah, y'all inspire me. I appreciate that and thank you. But the reason I've been trying to do this and what started me was listening to GT and realizing that there's maybe something I could do a little bit easier. I used to be able to speak English easier. And yeah, all right. Thank you so much. I love all of y'all. I think I'm going to end the stream, but thank you. And I will do the same thing. I'll try to share as much as I can. But most things will end up being on my Patreon because that's going to be home base. All right. Love y'all. Mwah. See you. GT, be careful. Bye.